Okay. So thank you very much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
We've met in New York last time. Now we are here in Malta at the Malta Blockchain Summit. This island is very dynamic. They are launching a whole set of new regulations around cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and digital ledger technologies in general. Tell me about your project. What are you aiming to do? It is a pretty ambitious project, right?
So actually, it's the first time that I'm in Malta, so it's a shame that the sun isn't shining. I've got my family joining for the weekend. They haven't been here before either, so it's really good to be here. And it's fantastic that there is a sovereign country within the EU that is making such a stride to regulate and legitimize what's going on in the blockchain environment. So we at Invstr, I'm the CEO and founder of Invstr. At Invstr, what we're doing is we're trying to democratize the process of investing and decentralize investing decision making. We believe there are literally hundreds of millions of people in the world who are discouraged from investing. And when we think about what is investing essentially, investing is essentially about our future. The investments that we make today determine what kind of a future we're going to have. And at a time when our society is so challenged, where we are, in terms of sustainability, financial sustainability, environmental sustainability, are at risk, it's so important that we mobilize as much of our society as we possibly can to invest and to put us on a more sustainable path going forward.
And in Invstr is Invstr without an O.
Invstr, without
Yes.
the E and without the O.
Yes,
So,
and full disclosure, I'm a proud advisor to the project as well. You are very keen also to make sure that the knowledge around how you invest in financial instruments becomes democratized.
Absolutely.
So that people learn what are stocks and what other instruments they can learn about and they can invest in.
So when we think about the problems that people have today when it comes to investing, we identified really three main problems. The first problem is that people just don't have the confidence to invest. The second problem is even if they have the confidence, they don't feel that they have enough money to invest. And even if they had enough money, they don't know what they should be investing in, what to buy and sell. So Invstr, as we are today as a platform, and we've got users in over 190 countries and we've been downloaded several 100,000 times, Invstr today aims to solve those problems. So we solve those problems using gamification is one of the ways that we solve those problems. So we've built a portfolio management game that we call Fantasy Finance. So it's going to be very familiar to anyone who plays a fantasy sports game. So Fantasy Finance is designed to help people learn about investing in a way that's relatable to them, in a way that's fun. And people can also create mini leagues with their friends, their families, their colleagues, and compete against their friends. So it's a very social activity, and the idea is through the social network that we have also within the mobile app, people can learn from each other. So we enable and facilitate peer-to-peer learning. And then on top of that, as you mentioned, David, we have a huge amount of content to give people resource to help people delve in and learn about investing and about the financial markets specifically. But we try and present that content again in a way that's user-friendly, that's relatable. We try and eliminate all jargon, and we try and present it in a way that's user-friendly. And then the last thing that we do in terms of solving these three problems is that we enable people to start investing with just $1. So, if you think about the classic problem that people have today, if I'm a millennial, if I'm any investor and I want to invest in the FANG stocks, they cost somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000 to buy one share in each of the 4 or 5 companies. Most people in the world don't have $3,000 or $4,000 to invest in one share of each company, whereas they will have $5, $10, $100. So we bring that investment threshold down as low as $1, so people can start investing with as little as $1. And by giving them the confidence, by giving them access to peer-to-peer learning, by making it fun, by making it social, and by bringing that threshold down to as low as $1, we make it affordable. Then we democratize, we seek to democratize the investment process, and we empower everyone to become their own investor.
And of course, what is also very important is that this happens on a very slick and well-designed and enjoyable mobile app platform. I've been able to use it in its latest beta version, and it is really well designed. The onboarding is easy. You are encouraged to try out the various parts. And also when you go from the fantasy finance league to real money investing. Whatever regulatory requirements are there in order for you to be identified is not excessively cumbersome. It is doable.
Yes. So for us, creating an easy mobile-first experience was essential right from the beginning. When we first conceived this project 6 or 7 years ago, we realized even back then that a native mobile experience, a mobile-first native experience was essential. And so we've designed Invstr to be a native experience, mobile-first. We will eventually develop a desktop application, but for us, we spend most of our time, I think most of us, we consume about 70% of the information through our mobile devices. So having a mobile device was essential. And also, if you think about how the markets move now with crypto, they're trading 24/7. So mobile is the most appropriate channel, the most appropriate device to keep us in touch with these markets that are moving all the time.
It is interesting. I am involved with a hedge fund that actually started in crypto and then adapted its algo to public stocks. Right. And the developer team was so frustrated that they couldn't keep testing 24/7. That is what they were accustomed to, just launching the various tests and then aggregating the results. And when they went on to the public stock market on NASDAQ 100 or whatever, they were like, oh my God, what do we do? Do we just roll our thumbs all the time? Yeah. The difference is quite amazing. But so we are here in Malta. This is a blockchain summit. What is Invstr's strategy around crypto and tokens?
So building on what you were just saying about that user experience, that if I was sitting on my sofa on a Sunday afternoon, I went onto Amazon and Amazon was shut, I'd be horrified as how come it's shut? And as you say, that the financial service experience today is antiquated. So what we're looking to do is we want to use blockchain to deliver that incredibly excellent consumer experience in a financial services context, which means we want to enable people to be able to buy and sell, make their investments 24/7. We want the settlement period to be almost instantaneous rather than the 2 or 3 day settlement period that we have today in the traditional markets. We want to enable people to buy in small amounts, so to buy on a fractional basis so that you don't need to invest $3,500 in a FANG portfolio. You can start with $10 or $20. And we want people to be able to have the convenience of holding all of their investments in a single account, using securities, and this is where we're going to be using security tokenization, using securities that are fully programmable so that in advance I don't have compliance or suitability issues. I know that the things that I'm buying are suitable for me, appropriate for me, and are legitimate for me to buy or sell. So we think that using blockchain technology, we can actually bridge the gap between the traditional financial market and this whole new evolving space.
Invstr, of course, as of today itself is centralized. I think it is also appropriate for every project to decide on its own the right balance between being ambitious and a future forward or being pragmatic and realistic and understand what is doable and scalable in the world today with the technology that is evolving, but it is not omni-comprehensive yet. Yes. So I think Invstr in that sense is striking the right balance. So a year from now, what is your goal? Where do you want Invstr to be?
So a year from now, we want to have created what we're calling today a universal investment account, where people can open this one universal investment account. They can buy or sell the public equities in the first instance in fractional amounts and have all the benefits of trading 24/7 and T+0 settlement. And in that same account, hold multiple assets, trade in and out. We'll be operating our own exchange as a regulated entity. We think we're going to be the first regulated entity, approved entity to be dealing in crypto tokens, and use that facility to really, as we say, take charge of their investment future. So it'll be a universal investment account. They can hold all of their assets in. They can trade in multiple asset classes. They can trade all around the world. They can, in theory, hold their traditional crypto and their equities and leverage that if they want, and then go and spend the money prudently using a debit card that's linked to that account. We think that experience will completely transform the way that brokerage is handled today, give people the facility to manage their money in a much more flexible, user-friendly way.
Thank you very much. Congratulations for your progress, and we will revisit this in a year's time and see where we are.
Yep. Thank you, David. Thank you very much indeed.